everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's good to be back, guys. It's been a hot minute since I've done any videos, but you know, life kind of gets in the way. But we're back. Today we're in a game called Geo-Fs. I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of it. If you haven't, I highly recommend you check it out. It is a free flight simulator that you play in your web browser. I say free, but it is, so the game is initially free. You can, however, pay their subscription of, it was, I think in US dollars, it was around $11, give or take. But that's for a full year of their HD satellite imagery that they use. So it's basically, if you've watched my previous videos, you've seen me play a game called World Flight, and it uses the same principle. It's a flight simulator that gives you satellite imagery for the ground, and then it puts little 3D buildings and terrain and stuff, and you can fly all over the world. It's a lot of fun. This game is definitely a step above that. It's not VR, it is on PC. But it's the same concept, only you get a lot more planes. The physics are much better. Your gauges are accurate. You get trees and buildings along with your terrain and stuff. You get radio navigation. You get working PAPI lights and runway lights if it's dark. You get trim settings. A lot of the stuff that you've heard me go on about wishing was in World Flight is in this game. And again, it's basically free. So I'm not going to get too much into all the mechanics and all the nitty-gritty of this game. Like I said, it's basically free. Go check it out, and yeah. So today, though, we're gonna hop in and we're gonna take a little flight in this little Cessna 172, and we're gonna leave the Rosecrans Airport, which is my hometown airport, and we're gonna putt around my hometown for just a minute, and then we'll come back in and we will land. And so yeah, I just want to showcase the game a little bit. Like I said, if you've never seen it and you've heard about it, but you're like, I don't know. Hopefully this will, persuade you to give it a shot. Like I said, it's definitely not Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it is definitely the poor man's Microsoft Flight Simulator. So because, like I said, for about $10, you get HD graphics and you get the HD terrain and stuff. And like I said, it's not bad. You can change the weather, you can play with all that different stuff. You got some shadows and everything, and but it's definitely a lot of fun. You do have some different camera views here. We can go into the cockpit, and you can look around your cockpit and whatnot. And the gauges in the cockpit do work. You can, however, you can turn on your HUD, which is what I usually do, just because I can read it a lot better close up like that. So. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it, and we'll get to flying and stuff, and I'll talk a little bit more about it as we go. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and start the engine. Recenter my camera here. Alright. Our parking brake is on, engine's on, we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go one notch of flaps, and I'm going to set my trim for takeoff. So should be good to go. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take our parking brake off, and we're going to accelerate. Track down the middle of the runway-ish. Rotation speed for the Cessna 172 is about 55 knots. Depending on weather conditions and your settings and whatnot. So we're at 50, we're at 55, we're going to pull back on the stick, we're going to rotate, come up off the ground there. Nice little climb out. I'm going to retract my flaps. The goal here is to track the center line, or at least the runway, all the way out here. Once we get out, then we will go ahead and make our left-hand turn, and we will fly out over my hometown. So a little bit more about this game while we're buzzing around here. Like I said, you can fetch the actual METAR weather data It doesn't always ping the correct airport. Or you can you can kind of customize it yourself. Everything from how many clouds are out there, the cloud level, fog, precipitation, time of day, seasons, things like that. So that's pretty cool. Pull back on the power just a little bit here. I'm gonna retrim. Alright, we're gonna make a left-hand turn here, and we're gonna buzz out over Elwood, Kansas, and across the Missouri River and into my hometown here. But in this game, you also have access to airliners, so you can fly. You can fly long-haul flights and stuff. I flew from KCI out to JFK's airport, and in a 737, so that was pretty cool. You can get up to cruising altitude in this. There are some different, there's like a space shuttle and stuff, and yeah, you can go to space. So yeah, that's definitely another feature that World of Flight did not have. So. Now this game does require a fairly decent computer to play it. I'm not saying you need one that'll run Microsoft Flight Simulator or anything like that, but I mean it's got to be a fairly decent computer. And stuff. Like I said, you can crank up the settings all the way up. And if I did right now, putting around a small town like my hometown in the little Cessna at this speed, it probably wouldn't be bad. Now you get in say the F-14 and you start ripping across somewhere like Los Angeles with full afterburner. It might lag a little bit because it's got to load everything. So, if you do start playing the game and stuff, just be mindful of that. You might dumb your graphics down just a bit. That way you can enjoy the full effect of ripping across the valley there and seeing everything load in real time. So, but here we are. We are up here. We're sitting about 2,300 feet up. Now that's mean sea level, that is not above ground level. So. But we're up here, and like I said, you can use your mouse and you can drag the camera around the plane. You can look all the way around you and stuff. You see that wonderful view distance out there? All your clouds and whatnot. Got your sunlight. And the sunlight, it will project shadows on the ground, as you can see down there, the little tree shadows. But if you fly your airplane close enough to the ground, it will show the little shadow down there, and that's pretty fun. So, alright. Look out the left and the right. We'll go into our cockpit mode here. And like I said, we can look around the cockpit. This is all in real time, so if it takes you half an hour to fly from one location to the other in real time, it'll take you about that long in the game. You do have a nav chart down here. It'll bring up this chart right here and stuff, and like I said, you can zoom in, and it's got my hometown, it's got the airspace for Rosecrans. You do have radio navigation, so if I bring up that tab on the right here and stuff, you can dial in VORs and the ADFs and different things like that in ILS and utilize all of that to navigate. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, you got all over the planet. Zoom out here, and we can fly anywhere. Any point on this map I can fly to. I'm not saying that every point is super detailed or anything, but it's definitely there. It just depends on the satellite imagery that was taken of that area. So. And a lot of the cockpits, like I said, if you can see the little hands turn and pull back and up and stuff, and everything reacts to it like it should. Go ahead and go back into our follow camera here. So I said, you have full control over the airplane. I said, you got your pitch, your roll, your yaw. You got flaps, you got trim. And from my understanding, the physics are pretty good. You know, I mean, when you're landing and whatnot, which you'll see here in a little bit, you'll see that I control the plane a lot less with the actual, like, yoke and more along with my speed and my trim settings and stuff, which is actually how you would really do it. Definitely a fun game. I highly recommend it, especially since, like I said, it's free, and the HD graphics, the HD satellite imagery, which is pretty good. And like I said, it's definitely not your high-end quality, but for a free little game that runs in your web browser, that's not bad. And like I said, it's definitely worth, you know, $10 a year. That's a subscription I can definitely get behind. So... we're going to go ahead and start heading back to the airport, which you can see right over there. I'm a little high right now. Let me fix my camera. There we go. So I'm going to pull back on my power. I can start descending here. Descend down to a fairly decent pattern altitude. A little bit more. And another thing with the radio navigation, like I don't know if you noticed right here, but you can see on my VOR indicator, the little line is moving and stuff. That can be dialed in, and you can find out your radial to and from and stuff. It'll give you glide slope information if you're using ILS and different things like that. So that's another pretty cool little feature. So we're coming in on the pattern altitude right now, so I'm going to go ahead and pitch up a little bit, give it a little bit of power. Happy lights are showing that I am in the glide slope area right now. Go ahead and do a notch of flaps. Trim a little bit. Getting ready to line up for our final approach here. And one thing about this game, like in a lot of your flight simulators, since you can't really turn your head and look, I use like ground references, which I mean in real life you could just turn and look and see the runway and line up, but in this you really can't. So I use little ground references to know where I need to be so I can turn a little bit easier. It's a little easier to do it in the follow cam like you see here. Not as easily done in the cockpit, but after you do it a few times, especially if you do it at the same airport, you'll eventually get it. Back to power here, looks like glide slope is good. Get ourselves lined up a little bit, a little fast. Pitch up here. Trim. Not bouncing around. Go ahead and add a second notch of flaps. Retrim. idle. Over the threshold there. We're going to start transitioning to flare. There it is. A little bumpy, but not too bad, not too bad. We'll roll out, start putting our brakes on, bring up our flaps. There we are. Put the brake on, there we go. Kill the engine. And there you have it, guys. A little putt around St. Joe, takeoff, landing in the Cessna 172 and Geo-Fs. Definitely a fun game. I highly recommend it if you've never played it before. So yeah, but it's good to be back, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and like I said, we're going to try and start maybe making some more videos with this game and things like that, maybe some other PC games. We'll see what happens. So, but I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.